Hi, everybody. It's Miranda Bre. I am here on the Cleanse, Nourish, and Transform series, and I have Dr. Joel Fuhrman here, and I'm sure many of you know who he is. He's the Eat to Live guy, the Women's Study guy, the Nutritarian guy. I mean, there's probably so many things that people call you, and now I find out that you're also a food addiction guy. So I am really excited to have you on here because I know that everybody is going to get so much value out of this. And I just want to start by asking you, how did you get into teaching plant-based nutrition, and what about the evidence that what evidence did you find that made you start to promote that way of eating?
Well, that started more than 30 years ago because I've been a physician now for 29 years in practice. And I went to medical school, in the early 1980s. Let's see, 80. Yeah, I graduated from medical school in 88. So I went to medical school in 84, started medical school in 84. So in the early 1980s, like 81 and 82, I was reading and studying about nutritional excellence and how it can affect heart disease and diabetes and strokes and cancers. And I thought that, and I recognized then in all my reading and research back 35, 40 years ago, that this was a exciting and passionate career to pursue, because knowing in the future that things are going to get worse, people get more obesity and more cancer rates are going to explode, and diabetes rates would get even worse, and people will have the growth of the processed food and fast food industry leading to more tragic and sad outcomes. And all disease, and almost all disease, is not primarily genetic. We have our genetic predispositions, but these diseases are predominantly what people are putting in their mouth, including mental illness. And so so this explosion in mental illness, from 1 in 100 people being mentally ill years ago to now 1 in 5,
Yeah.
the explosion in diabetes and young life strokes, the explosion in cancer rates are all the results of new food addiction and nutritional stupidity. And so I recognized back then that this was a very important career route to take, and it's been very rewarding. I've been a huge, just to be able to see all the thousands of people who have changed their lives through my efforts has been tremendous. I'm very blessed to have had this opportunity to positively affect so many lives. There's always a lot more work to do and people who need help, but clearly our modern food distribution system, the foods available in the marketplace, and our frankenfoods that have been developed to addict people is killing more people than any kind of cocaine or heroin or opiate addiction across America. Food addiction is the major killer for people in our country and the modern world. And it's a big effort to fight the effects of these foods and in taking over, hijacking people's lives and hijacking their ability to be happy and healthy.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but I'm actually a psychiatric nurse, and I work in inpatient psychiatry and on a locked unit. And so, but I go all over the hospital, so I see all the populations. But I definitely am aware of the explosion in mental illness, and then I see the stuff that we're feeding patients in the hospital. I'm not really thrilled about it, and I think that there's a whole transition that needs to change. But I'm just really grateful to have physicians like you that are, going out there and spreading this message, because this is where it's got to start. And also, I just wanted to say that was how I realized that I work with these people with addiction every single day. And it wasn't until really recently that I realized that all of my struggles with food personally were addiction. And so I'm just wanting to learn more about this myself, because I always thought it was, well, I just didn't do this part right, or there was some information I didn't have, or maybe I needed a new juicer, or maybe there was, something missing. And I realize now that it's just all of those were just ways to avoid dealing with the addictive foods that I wanted to keep putting in my mouth. So can you just tell us a little bit about the work you've done with food addiction, and give us, tell us your stuff.
Well, I work with essentially teaching people how they can live to be 100 without heart disease, without diabetes, without strokes, and achieving a normal weight that they maintain for the rest of their life, and how to remove food addictions. My foundational principles about food addiction was published in the journal Nutrition Journal in 2010, called The Changing Perceptions of Hunger on a High Nutrient Density Diet. So in other words, we're showing that excuse me, let me just put my dog on the floor because he's like whining or something. Maybe he'll be more quiet there. He was unhappy on the floor and then was unhappy in my lap, so I put him back on the floor again. Now, but so we're talking here about that, that the body requires micronutrients. We're talking about vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. And when we eat, we metabolize calories. And when we metabolize calories, we form free radicals and other toxic metabolites. It's the normal process of aging. And as metabolites and free radicals build up, they age us and cause chronic disease. Now, natural plants that are full of phytochemicals and antioxidants naturally diffuse and remove the reactive oxygen species that are produced from the metabolism of calories. It's when we eat foods that do not contain phytochemicals and antioxidants that we start to age us and become more toxic. And then, so we build up toxicity from high glycemic carbohydrates, from just eating foods without antioxidants, from overeating calories in general. And then when we're not eating food, when we're not in a digestive cycle, and we're in that what I call the catabolic phase when digestion has ceased, then we enhance detoxification and removal of toxic compounds. That removal phase of the digestive cycle, when the body heals and repairs, it causes more intense symptoms in people who are not eating healthfully. When you're eating a healthy diet, you feel nothing in the catabolic phase. When you're not eating healthy, you become shaky and weak and fatigued and a little anxiety, even withdrawal depression. When your body is flooding with toxins in that removal phase. So what I'm saying right now is when the quality of their diet, when the micronutrient quality is missing and they're not consuming enough phytochemicals and antioxidants and they're over-consuming calories, they're going to feel an unrelenting drive to eat again too much and too frequently. So diets of all description fail because people aren't focusing on the quality of what they're eating. They're not eating an anti-cancer diet. They just willy-nilly try to cut back on calories, and then they don't feel well until they overeat calories again. Just like you try to get off cigarette smoking, and you feel okay until you try to stop the smoking. And then 3 or 4 hours later, you want to take a smoke. Mm-hmm. The lower the quality of the food you put in the body, not only the more overweight you become, but the more discomfort you get when you try to reduce your calories. And it becomes more hard to, so that's one aspect of the addiction cycle, is that we call that toxic hunger. Whereas if you're eating a very healthy diet, you don't feel anything when you're not digesting food until the point when your glycogen that was stored from the food you ate was utilized. The gas in the tank has to be burned off. Mm-hmm. When the gas in the tank is burned off and you have a legitimate need for calories again, then you get what I call true hunger. And true hunger is like a precise computer that directs you the amount of calories you need for you to maintain your lean body mass. True hunger doesn't exist to make you get overweight. To become overweight, you have to have eaten outside of the demands of true hunger, either recreationally or because you're eating because of supplying toxic hunger. Now, that said, there's other factors that make people into food addicts, and that's eating foods with concentrated calories that enter the bloodstream rapidly. A primary example is oil. Mm-hmm. The consumption of oil in the diet is the biggest scam perpetrated on the modern world. It's like teaching people like that smoking is good for you. They used to tell us years ago that smoking was good for you, by the way. The medical profession used to be advertising that smoking was good for people. Just like they used to tell women taking estrogen for postmenopausal symptoms would make them live longer, and we found that it was killing people with breast cancer and increasing heart attack rate, and we finally stopped it. The same way people are putting oil in their foods, and some people think olive oil is a healthy, or coconut oil is healthy, whatever it is, but oil is a concentrated calorie that enters the bloodstream in 3 to 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. Sugar, white flour, white rice, these things that are glycemic, also that enter the bloodstream very rapidly. When calories are rapidly infused into the bloodstream, they signal receptors in the brain, dopamine receptors and calorie receptors, and they, just like opiates do, the same dopamine reception from opiates are triggered by excessive caloric load flooding into the bloodstream rapidly. So it makes people want to eat more food. So when you put oil on your food, or use oil with your food, or you put sugar on your food, or it doesn't shut down the apostat like a high fiber plant does. It actually increases the apostat and make you want to eat more calories. It's like you can't just eat a little bit of ice cream. You want to consume the whole pint. You can't eat a little bit of salted, sweet, high glycemic carbohydrates. You got to eat like 4 pieces of white bread because dopamine is being stimulated, which makes you want to consume more and more of it. And then you're left off with dopamine insensitivity, which makes you more prone to depression and makes you then looking for more stimulation for the brain. And then we say that sugar and commercial baked goods are the gateway drug to opiate addiction and illegal drug use. But most people don't go that far. They just maybe become alcoholics and food addicts and become obese. So they don't, but then they use food as a drug and they stay obese and sickly and diabetic and prone for cancer the rest of their life. And there's no such thing as a healthy overweight person. That's another fallacy because people think that, there's some people that are overweight might be healthier than people that are thin. And that's just, when you're an overweight food addict, like you were saying earlier, your mind has been taken over by your addictions. And now you're looking for rationalizations and excuses why it's okay to stay overweight and okay to eat that diet. You know what I mean? So it's very hard because people they're self-delusional and they'll come up with a million different reasons that don't make any sense at all why they have to keep eating that way. So what I'm saying right now, of course, is that food addiction is ubiquitous. And right now, about 90% of our population is overweight. The authorities in America tell people 70% are overweight. That's because they use a BMI of 25 as the demarcation line between normal weight and overweight. And if you look at all long-lived societies, all cancer-free societies, all centenarians, they always have BMIs below 23, not below 25. If we use 23 as the demarcation line, not 25, then we classify 89% of people overweight. Now, looking at that 11% that are normal weight, well, it's more than 11% of our populations are alcoholics and smoke cigarettes, have digestive disorders, occult cancers, depression, and autoimmune conditions, and other problems and other medical conditions keeping them thin. The majority of people in that category of normal weight people are sick people that would be overweight if they weren't sick.
Wow.
So that's why people are saying, well, it's better to be moderately overweight because we're looking at people that are normal weight and we're really evaluating a majority of people that are thin. But if we look at the 2.5% of people in America who are slim because they eat healthy and they exercise regularly, that's where you can, studying that only 2.5%, can we see the longest lived, healthiest Americans are not in the moderately overweight. They're in the thinnest Americans who got that way because they ate right and exercised.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's a little confusing for people, but almost everybody you're in contact with is another food addict. And and the difficulty of getting rid of your food addictions and eating right is because when you learn the right way to eat, instead of going home and everybody applauding you and supporting you, there are also a bunch of food addicts that are trying to sabotage you, and it makes it much more difficult, especially when you're looking for sabotage. When you're an addict, it's hard enough getting off your addictions, but when people are trying to support you to join them in being an addict again, it's hard to resist.
Yeah, you just answered so many questions that I've had for you right there, and especially the oils, and because that's been a major question I wanted to ask you, is because that differs from what a lot of people say. And now I have
right. You cannot lose weight while eating oil. Nobody loses weight by pouring calories over their food. People say, you'll eat more food, it'll speed up your metabolic rate. The speeding up of the metabolic rate from eating more calories can never compensate for the amount of calories you consumed. It's always better to eat less calories. You have to remove calories from the diet. The slowing of the metabolic rate from reducing calories can never slow more than the calories were reduced. In other words, if you reduce your calories by 50 calories a day, the metabolic rate might slow to make it only seem like you reduced the rate by 30 calories a day, but you're still going to lose weight. You're still eating more. So the secret to a long life is moderate caloric restriction in the environment of micronutrient excellence. We have to get excellent micronutrients, and that means removing empty calories, removing calories that don't supply fiber and don't supply nutrients. There's no way that pouring low nutrient calories on your food is going to make for a better, healthier person. That's insanity, and really it's incredibly ignorance. The point I'm making right now is that when you eat nuts and seeds as your source of fat, instead of oil, we're talking about walnuts, not walnut oil. Sesame seeds,
the whole nut,
not sesame oil. The whole nut. I'm sorry, let me just get my dog 1 second. Mary, could you watch TV for a few minutes? I got rid of him. He's gone. So see, when you eat oil, there's no fiber to ratchet down your appestat. It doesn't take to occupy space in the stomach. If you went to eat an apple before the meal, the 65 calories in the apple, you eat 65 calories less at the meal because the water content, the fiber, the space occupying effect of that apple would be able to tune down your appestat for the meal. Oil has no effect. You can eat the same amount of calories, but if you pour the oil on the food, you'll eat more than the 120 calories of a tablespoon of oil. You eat more calories because it induces overeating. You see the fiber content of the meal, the fiber is broken down by bacteria in the gut, and it changes the fiber and resistant starch to fatty acids, and those fatty acids signals the hypothalamus to cut back on how much you're eating. When nutrients and fiber that really control your appetite. Without a diet high in nutrients and fiber, your appetite can't be controlled. And when are bound to fibers like sterols and stanols that pass through you into the toilet bowl, sucking a percentage of those calories out of the body. All the calories aren't absorbable. And furthermore, these fat magnets in the nuts and seeds hang on to LDL cholesterol, sucking it from the bloodstream into the digestive tract for removal. So, and plus they ratchet down the appestat because the calories from nuts and seeds passes the bloodstream at 1 or 2 calories a minute, not 100 calories a minute. So when the calories are in so complete effect the sesame oil or the sesame seed, or taking the avocado, the olive and the olive oil, or whatever food, we're designed to be eating the whole food. And so much of the proteins and the fibers and the bioflavonoids and all the beneficial factors in food, especially the anti-cancer effects of the sterols and stanols that are found in nuts and seeds, are removed and lost when you push the process of food into an oil. And then you have people putting oil on their food. Now we know that a little bit of nuts and seeds or a little bit of fat is beneficial when you eat a high vegetable meal because you absorb 100 times as much of the anti-cancer phytochemicals when you have some fat at that meal. But it's the right type of fat that does that magic, not the wrong type of fat. And the right type of fat, I should say the wrong type of fat, are animal fats and oils. And the right type of fats are a small amount of nuts and seeds made into a salad dressing or put on a salad. So we're talking here about a diet rich in these anti-cancer plant foods, which I call G-bombs.
Yes, I've heard G-bombs.
G-O-M-B-S, yeah, G-bombs. Because the reason I have that acronym G-bombs is it reminds people the foods I want them to eat every single day as part of their intake that supply them, because these foods have powerful anti-cancer benefits. It enables us to win the war on cancer. You know, you mentioned earlier, you said I'm well known for Nutritarian, you mentioned the Nutritarian Women's Health Study you mentioned, and that's right, I have thousands of women who were signed up in a study we're running at Northern Arizona University. They sign up through the internet, they follow the G-bombs, and they're pledging to eat this program because we're tracking the protection they're getting against breast cancer and other later life diseases over the years that they're on this program to fight cancer. But the side effect is that they'll become a favorable weight and they'll oh,
you cut out for a second. Are you there? Oh, there you are. Okay.
Are you there? So
yeah.
Were you able to hear all that?
I've heard most of it. There's a couple little times where it's like the computer, I think, just pausing up a little bit, freezing up. But I've heard most all of it. And I know about the study.
Should we repeat any of that again? Should I go through any of that again, or?
Yeah, maybe go through after you said about the study at Arizona University, and the breast cancer is reducing, and then they also are losing weight.
Right. Let me repeat that again, just because
okay,
we
sure.
have more connection. And that was that the G-bombs, which stand for the greens and beans and onions and mushrooms and berries and seeds, each one of those foods individually have very strong and powerful anti-cancer benefits, especially protecting against breast cancer. When we put the diet style together with a full portfolio of including all those foods that have the powerful anti-cancer effects, then the magic happens to really have an incredible power to make people live longer and prevent later life cancers. And that's what we're doing in the Nutritarian Women's Health Study. in conjunction with Northern Arizona University, where thousands of women sign up to pledge to follow this dietary program to protect themselves against cancer and also obviously against dementia, to live longer and have a healthier life. And the side effect is they keeps them slim and lose weight. No substitute for nutritional excellence for wanting to maintain a favorable weight for the rest of your life. You can't maintain a favorable weight unless your diet is very healthy. And a diet that's healthier is healthier than a diet that's less healthy. So a diet that's healthier is going to get more success in the weight loss arena and make it more successful for a person trying to get rid of food addictions. At my retreat in San Diego, where we take food addicted people, we find that we feed them a diet so rich in nutrients from the great soils we put in there. You know, they're eating the collards and the broccoli rabe and all this stuff with the special soils. We find that when we get more nutrients into the people, they have an easier time getting rid of their addictions and their cravings, and the cravings leave them faster. Their sugar, their desire for sugar and alcohol and overeating is because nutrients protect the brain. The brain is like a big jelly bag or a big jelly bean full of fat. The brain is a big bucket of fat, and the fat becomes rancid and rotten, and it ages, and it causes, and you know there's a link between commercial baked goods and fast food and major depression. Even 2 servings a week of commercial baked goods or fast food doubles a person's risk of developing major depression in their lifetime. And it goes up proportionally. But the point I'm making now is that it's the continuous and excellent exposure to phytochemicals that protects the brain from rancidity and oxidation. The brain needs the constant exposure to these bioflavonoids and the flavin and the petro and the and the phyto and the oxidants and the ITCs, the isothiocyanates in green vegetables. These things are critically important to the health of the brain. And when the brain is healthy and gets these nutrients, you think more clearly. The fog is lifted, and that's the mechanisms that really aids people in removing their food addictions. Because their taste gets better, they start to enjoy the flavor of natural foods more, they lose their worries and their fears, sugar becomes less attracted to them, they're no longer craving and feeling shaky and weak if they're not constantly overeating calories, they start to feel better quickly, and they're no longer dependent on their drug of choice, which is obviously processed foods and concentrated calories.
So how long does that take, typically, for someone to stop feeling shaky and low energy and stop having the cravings? Is it different for everyone, or do you find there's a timeline?
It's a little different for everybody, but it usually takes 4 to 5 days. 4 to 5 days of feeling fatigued and ill, and then you're feeling okay, but you're still emotionally addicted to food. You're just not feeling as uncomfortable physically. So then you still have your emotional triggers, and you're still longing for those foods. And that's why putting people in a safe environment, and whether the safe environment is my retreat or the safe environment is your home, where you took a garbage bag and you pull all the junk out of there, and you have everyone you know, including your whole family, making sure there's no temptation of having commercial food around, and you only have your house stocked with fruits and vegetables, and people are aiding you and supporting you, and having that safe haven of healthy food around you. But what we put people up for 8 to 12 weeks, and we find that if we kept them there just for a month, it wouldn't have worked. They would have fell back and gained the weight back if they stayed just a month. It really takes longer than that for them to lose their attraction to their drug of choice. The cocaine addict stays in a cocaine rehab facility for 12 weeks because that temptation for cocaine diminishes over time. There's nothing like abstinence away from these drugs and these concentrated foods that are highly palatable, high in sugar and salt and oil and highly concentrated calorically, that signal dopamine in the brain, still are very difficult for people to have them weight gain again, unless we've kept them away from those foods for a long enough period of time. And the teaching of how to make a healthy diet taste great, the retraining of their taste buds, dealing with their emotional and psychological issues, which led to the food addiction behavior to begin with, including people sometimes have childhood issues and childhood parental issues and isolation and loneliness issues that have problems where they resort to food as solace. So we're talking here about getting to the bottom of what caused the problem to begin with, and enabling people to have a miraculous health recovery, get rid of their obesity, their diabetes, their heart disease, their high blood pressure, their medical conditions, their headaches, and feel great and have the skills that they need to take care of themselves for the rest of their life and enjoy this way of eating. So that's what my job has been for the last 20 years. I'm on a website on drfuhrman.com. We have forums where people discuss this with each other. We've got, vacations and getaways, and now I have a retreat. Products and I have books and I have lectures and I have programs and I do all this stuff to get people engaged and to take away and to make it possible for them to make these changes and to make them work effectively for them.
It sounds amazing. I mean, I want to move in for 12 weeks right now. So I'll be checking it out for sure. And you know what? One of the things that you said a while back that really hit me too is that I love when you were talking about that 2.5%. I know that when I was in nursing school, the question kept coming up in my mind, what's this whole baseline thing? Like, why aren't we comparing sick people to optimum health instead of comparing this baseline? The baseline isn't even healthy.
Right.
It's like the average person isn't even healthy. So who cares if we're comparing it to what most people are like, And so
absolutely. That's so true.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me what you're teaching and what you're doing. So you're teaching people right there at the retreat. You're teaching them like how to do it at home as well. It's like, are there kitchens where there's cooking classes, or what kind of things are you doing in there?
I have 3 of the greatest chefs that make food taste like you're in a fine gourmet restaurant. It's so delicious. And the people, like, what they do is they keep a notebook of the recipes they like the best. And I say to them, you can't leave here without 4 to 5 salad dressings that you love and you know how to make. You can't leave here without 4 to 5 main dishes and some desserts. And so they're there actually evaluating which foods they love the best and how to cook those foods and attend the cooking classes and save those recipes and know how to do them. That's exactly right. They get the exercise, the psychological counseling, the group therapy, the physical, and they get the cooking classes and my lectures and teachings. So they really come out of there like a powerful person with superpowers. The superpowers we're talking about are, put the oxygen mask on yourself first. Learn how to do this. Get in great shape. Remove your conditions. Get super healthy. Then you can reach out and help other people. Then you really can enjoy the fact that you're a role model to help other people get well first. So it really, and as you can imagine, the rewards that I get, to be able to watch people make these health transformations, people with diabetes with no more diabetes, people who have psoriasis, clear their skin, people with lupus with poor kidney function, make a complete recovery. And so with diabetics, and even a type 1 diabetic using 200 units of insulin a day, now, stabilizing his sugars, getting back to good health again, and losing 35 units a day, not 200 units a day, because excess amount of insulin is dangerous. So in other words, nutritional excellence is 100 times more powerful at enabling people to get well and stay well. Going to doctors and taking drugs is like shoveling the dirt under your carpeting, under your rug, and hiding it. It's like covering it up while you're still getting sicker and sicker with each passing day. What I'm saying right now is that these medications that doctors prescribe enable people to continue their addiction, because now their blood pressure looks okay and their glucose looks okay, but they're still worsening. They're still gaining weight. They're still getting sicker. We never had these medications. Doctors would be forced to tell people that you got to drop 50 pounds if you want to lower your blood pressure. You got to get rid of your diabetes. You got to start walking an hour every morning. It enables people to just go on with their life and get sicker. And these drugs cause cancer too. They're exceedingly dangerous to rely on medications and to go to doctors and be treated for chronic illnesses when these illnesses are caused by lifestyle problems, not medication deficiencies.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with that 100%. Wow. I feel like I'm learning so much from you right now. But the big question that keeps coming up for me is I still feel like I signed up for your women's study, and then like you said, we pledged. So it's a pledge, right? But I still have to be able to make that change at home. So what kind of tips do you have for people who might not be able to come to one of your retreats if it's out of reach for them? What shift can they make at home to?
You know what it is? They have to just do it. When people come to see me as a patient, You know what I tell them? And they're there because they have a medical reason. They're overweight, they're diabetic, they have heart disease, they have high blood pressure, they have some problems, right? They have problems. I say to them, don't make a decision what to eat. Stop deciding what to put in your mouth. Don't decide what you like, and don't use what you know. Forget all that stuff. I'm going to decide what you eat. Let me choose for you what you eat at breakfast, what you eat at lunch, and what you eat at dinner. I'm going to tell you what to eat. Don't evaluate if you like it or not. I don't care if you like it. Just do it. Because what you did is you wouldn't have been in this position that you're in right now, almost, closer to death and destroying your health, if you had the knowledge, skills, and you knew what to do. And you're not going to scientifically test what I'm telling you to do unless you do it wholly. You can't just do it 90%. If I'm going to tell you I'm going to reverse your high blood pressure and take away your food cravings and make you like this way of eating more than your old diet and retrain your taste and make you love the recipes and make you enjoy this, then you can't do it your way. You have to do it my way. And that means you have to not like it and just do it. Because if you do that, you'll see a miraculous transformation that will change your mind, change your brain function, and change your taste and your smell. And then you'll learn, and the recipes will become likable, and you'll learn to love eating this way, and you'll start to control that ravenous hunger and those addictive behaviors. You can't do it, in other words, don't try to solve it, and don't expect to like it and feel good right away. Just do it and see the results. And then we can see what happens to you after the first month. And then I'll show you, if you really do what I tell you to do, that you'll have dropped at least 15 pounds the first month, and you'll drop it 10 pounds the second month, and 8 pounds each month thereafter. That's 2 pounds a week. And if you're not dropping 15 pounds, 10 pounds, and 8 pounds thereafter, then you're not doing the program that I prescribe, and you're not following my program. Just do the program and take off the 15 pounds the first month. Do the program and we'll retrain your taste buds. What I will promise is that you'll love eating this way and you'll want to stick with it if you do what I tell you to do for the first 3 months and get those results. You won't ever want to go off it. You'll enjoy food. You'll learn the recipes. You'll find them super delicious once your taste is changed and your health is improved. Right now, in the throes of your food addiction, your taste is perverted. Your food choices are perverted, and the amount of calories you want to consume is twisted. And you're coming up with all kinds of rationalizations why you can't do this. So remove the food from your environment that you have exposed to now, and set up your business plan as to what you're going to shop, what you're going to make at each meal. And I have books and materials made for this, so people can do this in their home. What to buy at the supermarket, right? What I was suggesting was probably the 10 and 20 diabetes, the 10 and 20, which gives people for 20 days, what food to buy and what to shop. It gives you menu plans for 21 days. The 10 and 20. The Eat to Live cookbook is all my favorite recipes that people should learn. And they also should study the End of Dieting book if they're going to do this on their own.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'll tell you this, that the more you know, the easier this gets. When I wrote Eat to Live in 2004 or whenever it was, I said in the book, I said, don't start doing this yet. Set yourself free of make no decisions. First, read the whole book. Become the expert in modern nutritional science. And then when you go do it, you'll be set up for success. I'm not saying exactly that here, but I'm saying that as you start this and as you're following the program, set yourself up for success and start to learn all the reasons why you're doing this and why this works. Because when you become the nutritional expert, the chances of you being successful, sticking with this and enjoying this goes up, is tenfold higher. You know what I mean? So, but then even if you can't do it on your own, then you have to join one of our groups, come in for our FAR program where we have a food addictions counselor assigned to you that you're paying for counseling and coaching, or come to one of our retreats, so it is, I want to make sure at least there's no reason people have to fail. And this is so important because I don't care what this, you can't stay in the position you're in. There's no reason to stay sickly and overweight.
Yeah. Thank you for being firm, because that really was a powerful message when you said you don't have to like it, because that one really hit for me. So thank you.
Right.
That was like a firework for me. Because I think I've had an expectation that I don't want to change unless I like it. And that's what I'm starting to learn right now, is that I'm probably not going to like it for a while.
Right. And you'll never change then. And you'll never be healthy. You'll never get well, ever. And you'll always have one foot in both worlds. And every time you go back to that world with trying to make yourself like something, you're going to trigger your addictions to be flare up again. And you're going to binge and go off your diet and gain the weight back. And you'll be yo-yoing your diet the whole rest of your life. You just got to, you have to eat an anti-cancer diet right now. And you just got to do it. And eventually you will like it and love it. I can't even eat conventional food because it doesn't even taste good to me. I eat a conventional ice cream. I can taste the bleach and the chemicals in there. It's like garbage. I want my ice cream made with my frozen banana, the macadamia nuts, and real vanilla bean powder ground up that tastes incredibly delicious. If I put the fake extract in there, I can't even stand the flavor. It tastes like chemical metin. You know, the taste gets too strong, and it's too, and you like the natural flavors. The natural flavors taste better than the junk food chemicals they try to make, that those chemicals people are hooked and addicted to. But you can't evaluate that because your taste has been hijacked. You know, so don't try to hijack. So just do the change and become the change that you want to be. You know, eat the food that you want to be. I remember when my daughter, Kara, was 4 years old, she said to me, don't these parents love their children? Feeding, you know, because they were feeding them all this junk food. She knew that what you ate makes who you are. And my kids could never figure out how parents would give their children such unhealthy foods. Don't they care about them? Care about their future? So I said to the 4-year-old, Kara, I said, you know, they love their children, but they don't know what we know. And she said, well, how could they be so stupid to not know that what you eat makes who you are, makes your body? And I'm saying they just all think that way because it's the way everybody doesn't know any better. We're living in an environment of people who are cognitive dissidents. They're food addicts, and they've lost their ability to reason logically. And they come up with excuses and rationalizations why it's okay to continue that, or they just don't think about it. And then it makes it okay to poison your children and give your children foods that cause cancer or that ruin their intellectual ability or ruin their chance of success in life or cause depression because you don't see how you're doing it to yourself, and you're an addict, so you have to rationalize it's okay to feed your child that way too. You know, I remember my children could just their minds have been blown by the fact that people will poison their children with junk food. You know.
Yeah. It's sad that that's the norm and the standard, you know, the standard American diet. And then people talk about balance and you can have a little of this and a little of that, but it's all it's poison. It's like and that leads to another question is what tips do you have for families? Because that's been one of my personal struggles is with transitioning is that the resistance from my kids. I mean, my kids are teenagers now, and so I could just say, well, make your own food then. If you don't want to, you know, shift with me, then, you know, you'll have to figure it out because I'm not buying that stuff anymore.
You have to expose them to my work. And some of my videos on this subject, my PBS specials are great to expose people to. You can Google them you can search for them on the internet and have them watch some videos with me. But kids aren't stupid. They know that they can understand that their choices affect their future, just like the choices to destroy the earth or the climate's going to affect their future too. Kids are very astute at knowing the future is theirs, right? And the parents are doing things that are kind of ignorant and destructive with both the environment and their own bodies. And the kids can be the leaders in this, you know, and they will pick up on it. Like my kids have, you know, America. Just listen to this for a second. Americans only eat 2% of calories from vegetables. 2%. Right? You know what I'm saying? That's like dangerous to eat 2% of calories from vegetables. Vegetables, you know, we already landed the man on the moon. What I mean by that is that we've already discovered the cure for cancer right now. We can wipe out 95% of all cancers right away. But people don't like the answer we found. They don't like vegetables are the answer, but they're looking for a magic pill that they could still smoke 3 packs a day or still eat their pizza, their burgers, their bacon, and their croissants and still not get cancer. Can't ever happen. Life is not a fairy tale. You can't eat processed foods and fake foods and frankenfoods and not get cancer. And we're never going to come up with a magic pill that's going to enable you to do that. The reality is you have to eat mostly vegetables if you want to have good health. Your diet has to be a vegetable-based diet, you know, and including all those G-bombs. And the more you remove, and when you adhere to this with excellence and with enthusiasm and with gratitude for having learned it, then you become very, you feel blessed, you enjoy it, and now your creativity becomes unleashed at how to make it taste great. And that's what we've done. we're not modulating the healthfulness of the diet. We're already sticking to healthy foods, but now we have the best creative minds and chefs making it taste fantastic. So now we're getting the best of both worlds. Great tasting food with the healthiest food in the world. It's called a no-brainer. Why not have great health as you're enjoying your life? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it sounds great. Sounds good to me. So are there any final things that you want to share with, I know there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be watching this. So anything else that you want to say on the topic of emotional eating, food addiction, getting in more veggies, getting in more phytonutrients, eating an anti-cancer diet?
Just that, don't be satisfied with being sick. Don't think the answer to being sick is going to doctors and taking drugs. Get well, get off your drugs, have the hope and the expectation that you deserve to have excellent health and you can do it. And it's worth it. The effort is worth it. Earn back your health. Don't just think it's okay to go to doctors and have high blood, high cholesterol, diabetes, have headaches, and feel fatigued and feel and be sick and wait the rest of your life. Do this and earn back excellent health. And this is not that difficult to do, and it's fun and exciting to be healthy.
Yeah. That's awesome. I really appreciate you coming on here and sharing all this valuable information with everyone. And I know that I'm going to put this to use, especially the don't like it part. So that's what I'm taking to heart right now, is that I might not like it and I'm just going to do what you say. And instead of trying to make my own, that's what I like to do. I like to pull a little from here, pull a little from there, and then a little from back there, just so that I can keep doing what I'm doing and never go anywhere.
It's not working for you, is it?
No, it isn't. It hasn't been working for me. And I haven't found anyone else, honestly, that I really trust enough what they're putting out there that I would say, okay, well, you know what? I am going to listen to this person and do it the way they say to do it. But I actually feel that way with you. I feel like, you know what? I think this guy knows what he's talking about. I think that he's figured something out. And because I've seen multiple people get healthy eating the way that you teach. And I'm going to be talking to some of them during this series as well. So I'm really excited about that.
I'm looking forward to you being an incredible role model in superior health. So keep in touch with me and show me where you get to be a year from now, okay?
Oh, yeah, I will. Okay. Yeah, this has been great. Thank you so much.
Sounds good. You're welcome. Take care. Good luck, best of health to you and all your friends and listeners. Bye-bye.
Great. Have a good day. Bye-bye.